Hey, happy holidays, Merry Christmas, and Happy New Year to everybody on my channel. It's been an amazing year. Thank you for joining me for the whole ride. Next year, we got some awesome stuff planned for the channel. I hope you stick around. If you're not already subscribed, please subscribe, spread the word. We have a true love for gaming here. And this is my year-end series. Every year, I do a collection of videos. And this is the big one. This is the grand finale series. We did most anticipated for 2015. We did the best of 2014. And this is going to be, every year I have a special. Last year was the best of last gen. This year is my greatest games of all time. These are based on my number one factor when reviewing a game. How much fun did I personally have with it? Not according to reviewers and what people said about the game. My personal opinion, what I felt about the game, and how much time I spent in the game. Not so much sound or graphics or story or content. Did I enjoy the game is one. And number two, how much time did I spend in it? And how many memories playing that game do I have? That's what made this list. It was an extremely hard list. Games of 2014 was hard, but this is like 8 times harder. I could list... Seriously, I've been playing games all my life. I was an early PC gamer. I used to build PCs back in the day just to play games that you would laugh at today, like Flash games today. And I've been through it all. When they had... CD-ROM was first introduced to the computer. Disk drives, sound blaster, sound cards. It was an amazing thing. I've been through it all. Graphics chips... Whatever you wanted, Atari, the first Nintendo. I've been through it all. And this is actually going through the whole span of my life. There's a lot more that I left out on here. Like I said, this could be a 3-hour video. I had to condense the video. You might say to yourself, oh man, I can't believe he didn't include that. Doesn't mean that it ain't one of my favorites. But there's only so much paper to print, and there's only so much time to make these videos. I'm trying to get these out there for you. So I had to condense it as best I could. There is an honorable mention on here, too, that's actually quite lengthy. Probably almost the same size. So let's get right into it. These are in no particular order. There's no winner. I can't do it. It's too hard for me. There's so many of these games that I absolutely love equally. Maybe somewhere deep in my head, I do have a favorite. But this is in no particular order at all. My first, and a lot of these you'll be surprised at because a lot of these aren't mainstream popular games. They were games that I played back in the day that I absolutely enjoyed. And like I said, I have memories of. I can remember when I first seen or played the game. And that's what made this list. Alright, the first one on my list here. Myst. Myst for the PC. I remember when this game came out. This was one of the first games that I got on CD-ROM. I was moving from floppy disk 3.5. And I remember it. I had a catalog because I used to be in all these computer clubs. CD-ROM is coming, blah, blah, blah. Myst, and I remember another one that's on this list that was on there. And I remember, back then we didn't have YouTube. Back then, we didn't have, these gaming conventions where you can watch the developer and the publisher showing the game off. You went by box art. When I went into, I had a local PC store here, and I used to go in once a week and buy games. And back then, games were like $75, $80. I knew nothing about the game. I went and I looked at the box. If the box art looked cool and I opened it up, or if it was a franchise that I was familiar with, I bought it. It was a gamble. You brought it home, you liked it or you didn't. You didn't have no way of reviewing or checking out games. I didn't even know what these games looked like till I brought them home. And also wondering if my PC could even handle them. Because I went through like 20, 30 PCs back in the day. Just based on trying to play these damn games. And some of them played them good, some of them didn't. Some of the games I liked, some of the games I didn't like. Myst was one of them. I brought it home. I remember seeing it in a catalog. Brought it home, and man, you want to talk about a game that I spent hours and hours on. Beautiful game. I mean, today, it hasn't aged well. Today, you would look at it and you would say, oh my God, it's like still pictures. You're moving around like a bunch of still pictures with little things moving every so often. Or what, I'm just thinking of like how people today would look at it that didn't know about it. But people that grew up with that game, that have a respect for that game, that game was mesmerizing. But when I used to watch that game and go through it, and the worlds and the sky and the trees and the puzzles were extraordinary. The puzzles were amazing. Myst. Fond memories. Loved that game. My PC was smoking, I remember, because I played the heck out of that game. Super Smash Bros. 3 on the NES. When I first saw this game, it blew my mind, and that was actually, I had played games before that, but that was the day when I said, I'm obsessed, I'm a gamer, this is going to be my life, I love this. Super Mario Bros. 3, and I'm going to jump right now, the one right next to it is Zelda: A Link to the Past. If it wasn't for those two games, I probably wouldn't be here having a channel. This channel, those games are the reason why I have this channel. And hundreds of hours I spent playing it over and over again. Zelda: A Link to the Past, not only is it my all-time favorite game, it's my all-time favorite Zelda. And I remember memories of it playing. My friends would come over. I would wake up every morning, and my buddies on the weekend would be here because they didn't have the game. They'd want to play it. I'd wake up, and they were in my living room playing it. A game, one of the only few games that I've actually played with my dad. My dad would, for hours, come on, let's play Zelda. Or sometimes he would just sit and watch me play it. Amazing memories. The next one after that is The Last of Us. It is a modern-day masterpiece. It is one of the few games that I will remember forever. Right along with the earlier, like, Super Mario Bros. 3, Zelda: Link to the Past. It's in the big top 5. Me personally, I just was moved by The Last of Us. The story was unbelievable. The characters were well written. The graphics were amazing. The story was, it was the first game that I was, my throat was pulled and tugged at the end. I thought it was fantastic. Man, if that's the future of what we still have in store for games, man, it's good to be a gamer. It got me pumped again. It was that classic feeling from back in the day. Right under it is the same thing, Skyrim. I thought that game was amazing because of the amount of bang for your buck. I literally spent hundreds of hours in. There's still stories and side missions that are still ongoing. Amazing game. I'm going to try to move along so this video is not extremely long. But I could talk about each one of these games for an hour each if I had to. Monkey Island 1, 2, and 3. I remember I had a Tandy computer. And I had just brought it home from Radio Shack. And this was the first game I had. And they were the big box games. The hardcover, hard box. Worth a lot of money today. It had the wheel in it. It had the map. And I remember looking at the artwork of the boxes saying, oh, and I remember my cousin gave me the game. He says, if you get a PC, he says, you must play Monkey Island. The Curse of Monkey Island. And what happened was, it was sitting on my dresser for months because I didn't have a computer yet. And every day I would go in my room and stare at the box and go, oh man, I wish I could play you. Finally, I went and got a PC and I played it that night, and that's what did me in. I was done. My mom, I have to find it. My mom actually has a picture of me sitting right here in this corner here, because this room was set up different before I had a gaming room. And I had my Tandy computer right here, and you'd hear it go, it would start up, you know, big clunky thing. Put in Monkey Island, I had my little mouse, I would click and I would play for hours and hours and hours. And my mom would take pictures of me every day, coming in my room, taking a picture of me, saying, oh, he's still playing Monkey Island. Kind of like today. Doom, one of my all-time favorite first-person shooters. Mortal Kombat 1, absolutely mesmerized when I first seen that game. That was stunning at the time. I don't think I ever was so shocked in a game, and I've become a huge Mortal Kombat fan to this day. Amazing memories of going into the arcade. We had an arcade, Barnacle Bills, down the Jersey Shore. Every weekend I would go to Barnacle Bills and play Mortal Kombat. Back in the day, we had arcades. That's how we played games before they came out. And all summer I would play Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat. Lived in the arcade. Mortal Kombat was one of my favorites. And then when it came out, I actually bought it first on PC, a floppy disk. It was mind-blowing. Mario Kart on the Super Nintendo, one of my all-time favorite racing games. Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo, one of my all-time favorite fighting games. Fallout 3, My God, Bethesda outdid themselves with this one. Another game that I spent literally hundreds of hours on. Amazing, amazing game. Half-Life. I remember building a rig for this game, a PC. I absolutely, another game that really moved me. And I used to remember calling people over saying, "You gotta check this out." They'd all hover around me, and I'd be playing Half-Life, and they were like, "Oh my God, look at this game! What are you playing?" Wolfenstein 3D. I remember even way before the internet, we used to have what was called BBSs, where we would log into. I had a 14.4, I had a 28.8, I had a 56.6. But on my 14.4, I used to go on and I used to download shareware, and Wolfenstein 3D was one of them. And I remember downloading it and playing it, and I was like, "Oh my God, this is this is amazing." Classic game. Sonic the Hedgehog. I actually remember going to my grandmother's house one Christmas, and she had a Sega Genesis for the kids, for the grandkids, and it had just come out. I walked in the room, everybody was playing Sonic the Hedgehog, and I was a Nintendo guy, and I went, "Oh my God, what is this?" And from there on, I was like, gotta own one, gotta have it. And people complain now about the price of games and hardware. Back then, it was a lot. It was not cheap. You got no deals either. Diablo 3, reason why I made this list is because as much as I love the earlier ones, I spent a lot of time on Diablo 3, including on the PC and also on my PlayStation 4. I bought the Ultimate Evil Edition. I absolutely love Diablo 3, and I did spend a lot of time on it, and that's why I made this list. I probably spent literally hundreds of hours on it. I still go back to it. Twisted Metal, the first one, became my all-time favorite Sony franchise. I absolutely love Twisted Metal. Resident Evil 1, a classic. If you're a gamer, how could you not love this game? Survival horror at its best. Resident Evil was what made me love my PlayStation. Duke Nukem 3D, played it originally on the PC. I played all the original Duke Nukems on the PC. I absolutely love Duke Nukem. He's one of my all-time favorite characters in gaming. I love his humor. It's funny too because people that know me, I reference his stuff all the time. Like I have his whole vocabulary in my head. He's awesome. Amazing humor. Super Mario World. I remember getting this for Christmas. That came bundled with my Super Nintendo. Took over my life. NBA Jam, another game that consumed many, many hours of my time. I remember I had freaking clans. Me and my buddies would get together on the weekends. I'd go over to their house. NBA Jam, we had guidebooks. We'd unlock all the big heads. We'd unlock their celebrities. We had cheat codes. We'd have tournaments. Man, NBA Jam, hundreds of hours spent on that game. And of course, King's Quest, all the King's Quests. I had them all on my PC. I absolutely loved them. When they just announced the new one for the PS4, I was that, and actually Grim Fandango. I was shaking in my boots, and Grim Fandango was another one. And then I have honorable mention. I'm going to go through these really quick. BioShock Infinite and the original BioShock. Oblivion, Elder Scrolls. Phantasmagoria, which was an amazing game. Actually, I don't even know why this is on my honorable mention. Phantasmagoria should be on my main list here. Because, for its time, that game was groundbreaking. I mean, it was like... It was movie clips, like watching an interactive movie, like the CDI or the 3DO. Like, you could actually... It was a movie playing, and you could interact with it. And you could change dialogue, and it was like on 7 discs. I remember spending almost like $100 for this damn game back in the day. My local PC place over. I was the only one that used to buy PC games from this guy. He went out of business, but I walked in there and I seen the cover again with the box art. And it was like Phantasmagoria, and it was like, the boxes were all, they had like the fancy Velcro, and you open up the front, and then there was the inside. Sierra Games, and I was like, whoa. Being a big fan of Sierra, I bought that. That's an amazing game. Scary game. Riven, sequel to Myst. SSX Tricky, a snowboarding game. I absolutely love that. Crash Bandicoot, one of my all-time favorite franchises. Oddworld, another great franchise. Forza 3. It's on here because I probably literally spent hundreds of hours on Forza 3. Amazing racing game. Zelda, The Wind Waker. One of my second favorite Zelda games, believe it or not. I gotta add a Call of Duty on here. Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare. Still to this day, one of the best Call of Duty games. Animal Crossing City Folk. The reason why that made this list is because it's, again, another game that I spent hundreds of hours on. And that's my main thing here with picking these games. Halo, the first Halo. Final Fantasy VII. Absolutely loved it. Again, The Seventh Guest, another game that I think I bought the same time that I bought Myst. And it was a CD game, and I remember I remember now. I had a 2X CD-ROM drive, and I thought I was the shit. It was my birthday. And my cousin that got me into computers was going, because at the time they already had like a 4 or an 8X. Then they had the 16. I had the 2, and I was happier than a pig in shit. I mean, I was like, dude, fuck everything else. This is my game. You know, I'm going to get nothing but CD-ROM now, because I'm coming off of discs. But I remember it wasn't fast enough to run The Seventh Guest. As a matter of fact, I think I had a hard time with Phantasmagoria too. And actually, even the intro, the little movie intro with the fallen book in the beginning of Myst, it would skip. And it's funny too because certain things that they would say in the cutscenes, they would say twice. And then of course I upgraded to like an 8X or whatever. Because I was like, you know, Dad, I was like, and I got him in the room and I'm like, watch this. And he's like, why is it doing that? I was like, it can't handle the game. The problems we had. But, yeah. Seventh Guest was another amazing PC game. I actually have it on the iPad. Good stuff. Street Fighter 4. And again, another game that I spent many hours on. Unreal Tournament, one of my favorite first-person shooters. Absolutely love that game. Super Mario Galaxy on the Wii. I absolutely loved Super Mario Galaxy. Mario 64, another game that I was blown away by. I mean, the technology, just that game was so memorable, and I remember getting it for Christmas, and I remember that was all I did that day. Star Fox on the Super Nintendo. Star Fox was actually amazing. And Minecraft. I'm late to the Minecraft party. If you notice on my channel, I have a series dedicated to Minecraft. I've only started playing it this year. And I got hooked. I got big time hooked. Like, literally, I don't know how many hours already I spent on it. And I'm like enjoying it so much. I'm like, dude, I get Minecraft. I can't believe it took me this long. And I think that's why I never did it, because I knew I would get hooked and everything else would get pushed off. It's why I made this list. So that is my all-time list. Put in the comments what some of your all-time favorites are. I probably love them too. But I can only cram so much into this video. Thank you for joining me. I appreciate it. And leave comments. Let me know what you think of the list. Let me know what you would add or change or take off. And I will see you in the next video. Happy holidays, everybody, and take care.